You see the screen?
Yep. So Katie and Stephen, do you want to introduce our topic and share what you have for the group?
Ladies first.
Okay, let me pop this thing off of my. So my name is Katie McNair and I work with Stephen. I'm a Veterans Employment Representative with the state of Minnesota. And we are here to talk about a little bit on the Minnesota Veterans Career Fair that's coming up tomorrow at the Earl Brown Center here in Brooklyn Park, I believe is where we're at.
Brooklyn Center.
Oh, we're Brooklyn Center. I apologize. I get them confused often. And we're gonna touch on how to prepare and attend a career fair.
And I'm Steve Kolcinski, one of the other veterans.
Stephen?
I'm sorry?
Are we ready?
I'm one of the other veterans reps with the state of Minnesota. And you should see the screen with the information on going to tomorrow's job fair. And it's, there we go. But a little bit, Katie is a Marine and I'm Air Force. So. Please jump in if you have some words of wisdom. This is a community training.
I don't have that information in wisdom. This is a community.
Sorry, my Siri said something. I'll turn that off.
I see that or hear that.
I apologize.
So going to a career fair or a job fair or a hiring event is a networking opportunity. Very seldom do job offers come at a career fair. And generally, if they do, they're probably not the high-level jobs that you want. So one of the first things that I recommend you start talking to the employers about are, why are they there? What is it that they're looking for? The more they talk, the better you look. Any comments on that one? Okay, I got a thumbs up.
Love it.
Yeah, and this is an opportunity to really get in front of those employers. And, I like to tell job seekers, don't over pressurize in the idea that you're just, that you have to come away from there with a job. Go there and practice getting in front of people, practice talking about your skills and who you are in networking. And I'll talk more about that a little bit on some benefits with that later on in another slide.
And here's your slide.
Yes, the elevator speech. So you want to practice and prepare an elevator speech. This, of course, comes from an example that comes from Career Force. And you might see it in another slide later. You want to be referable. And so by doing your elevator speech, you want to keep it brief. You just have a few seconds to make that first impression. So of course you want to greet them with your name. You don't want to get into too much, you don't know where you're at. You're at a job fair. So kind of like in a job interview, you're not going to talk about your kids, your wife, your sisters, brothers, uncle, any of the personal topics. This is all career focused. To help you hopefully touch base into a career that you're looking for.
And item 7 on there, I would be very careful about talking about other companies when you're talking to one. Let them bring that up. They may say, well, I don't have a position in that right now, but my friend over here who is a recruiter at this company does. Understand, HR people and recruiters all know each other.
Yes, and they move around a lot. So HR recruiters seem to change companies often. So maybe they work at a specific company when they meet you, but they don't have anything for that. But they might remember you at the next company and they're looking for somebody with your skills and abilities, and could be a fit for you.
And as I talk to these businesses, because that is my primary job, is talking to the businesses, these recruiters really do want to help you. They're not your enemy. I know they're billed as the gatekeeper, but they really do want to help you.
Yeah, so here it is again, avoid providing that too much information. You just have a few seconds. They call it the elevator speech. Of course, I believe it's for that 8 seconds it takes you go from one floor. I forget how many floors it goes through. But it's that amount of time that you take to introduce yourself and just give a brief discussion of who you are, what your experiences are. You'll have time to share more information, of course, later on. Build that connection, and so that you have that solid first impression, and then make that connection so they ask for your contact information. You can ask for their contact information, kind of like in sales. You want to make a good close of the sale. And if they provide you a card or contact information, definitely follow up with them later on, and see if they had an opportunity, to review your resume, things like that. These are the words I was looking for earlier. I kind of got stuck, but it's be rememberable, and referable. I don't know if anybody on here has ever heard of, I believe there's a Marine Corps captain, a former Marine Corps officer, that started a group called Real Men, Real Style. And he would have these different videos on dressing professionally, how do you talk about yourself, things like that. You can look him up on YouTube. I like his older stuff more versus his new stuff. More of his new stuff's more focused on pretty high-end clothing. But he has some great points, especially the be rememberable, be referable. So like Stephen was saying, companies talk to each other. So a recruiter with one company, they might not have a position for you, but maybe they know of one of their friends or contacts at another company that would have an opportunity for you to transfer into them. Any comments, Steve? Any questions?
No, you're doing fantastic. Do you want me to go to the next slide?
Yeah, you can. And some of this information I pulled from the career development. I have the link down in the bottom of the page. You want me to keep going?
Yeah, these are your slides.
All right.
Mine are coming up.
Of course, the important thing is practice. I am a person that I feel I can be very good at talking, but sometimes when I'm on the spot, I can get nervous. So if you're an individual that's not very good at talking about yourself, get in front of those people that you know and just practice and ask for feedback. And some of them might joke with you, some of them, I don't know, being in the military, I know we can offer some interesting opinions sometimes, but listen to their feedback and take it, as an education moment of, learning to adjust. And it's like, okay, well, maybe I am fidgeting my hands, or maybe my voice is too high or too low, or I'm not looking in the eye properly, or I'm looking in the eye too much and I'm not blinking. And also practice talking. So I have had colleagues before that have told me one good way to get out there and practice talking is like, meet with your friends that on a topic that you know a lot about, and try to spark that conversation. Maybe if you're going to um, like a sporting goods store and you're really good at fishing or things like that, and have that conversation, maybe spark a conversation with a salesperson, um, and see how you feel, find that confidence there. And then when you're practicing your elevator speech, you pull that confidence into your elevator speech. You use those moments as kind of a learning, like this is how it's supposed to feel when I'm confident. This is how my words flow and things like that. So when you come into those situations where you're talking in front of somebody that's new to you, or you're talking about a subject that's new to you, once you get that practice in, you'll know what it feels like when yep, I know my stuff now, and you'll have that confidence that'll come out.
Excellent. Do you have a networking card? It's a business card that you give to people when you're networking with them. I recommend not putting your address on there, just your phone, obviously your name and what type of career you're looking at, but your phone, your email, your LinkedIn URL. Any questions about that? I know that there's a couple of places online that you can get them done fairly inexpensively. I've been told that Kinko's is the most expensive out there. Office Max, Office Depot, Staples all do it. If you have a printer at home, and I'm finding, and Katie assured me of this earlier, that most people don't have printers anymore, but you could buy the pre-made cardstock and do them yourself. Microsoft Word does have the templates in there for the Avery business cards, and even the generic versions of business cards have the Avery numbers. So it's a good way for people to remember you, and as Katie was talking about, be able to refer you. Any questions on having a networking card? I see Renee talking, but nothing is coming through.
I know my button didn't work when I pressed it, sorry. I can't remember who said this or mentioned it. It's not specifically about the card, but the home address on your resume, and I see that's on the card too. Some recommended to not put your address on there.
Yeah, that's what I had said a couple minutes ago. You probably don't want to put your physical address on there.
Okay, sorry, I must have missed when you said that.
No, it's okay. This is a discussion. This is not a, I have all the answers. But yeah, I don't recommend having an address on the card or on your resume.
Mike raised his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Stephen, and for everybody, question on this one. So what would be your advice for business cards to print out when you're still trying to figure out what position you're interested in?
Well, if you're printing them yourself, they come on sheets of 10 cards. You could have a whole bunch of different ones. And another school of thought is maybe have a mini resume on the backside with, say, 3 bullet points of what you offer. That's an advantage of being able to print them yourself.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, because when I started off, and I found one of my old business, my first homemade printed cards when I started my transition journey, and that was when I was really interested in project management, and I didn't go for the project management route. And I just got a kind of kick out of it because I looked at the card and I said, this was what I thought people would be interested in while I was still in the service, and how much of a disconnect there kind of was. I mean, there was some of it was right, but a lot of it was kind of just mushy and messy.
Well, and we're finding, at least I'm finding, that a lot of our veterans are saying, well, I'm going to be a project manager because either their NCO told them that or their commander told them that. There are not that many positions. As I talk to these businesses, even in the manufacturing realm, they don't need 100 project managers. They need 3 or 4.
When I'm going to jump in here real quick.
Please.
Usually when you're doing on that professional side, guys, I'll tell people, go take a look at job postings in that career field that you're searching for. So usually if you're in the professional realm, whether, and you're in that, or even if you're on the blue collar side, what the top skills are that companies are looking for. Definitely highlight those top skills. Do that if you got room to do a quick, like this one has the 16 years of success stories. Well, you're highlighting those, a little bit of that accomplishment, but you definitely want to touch base on what your skills are. You want to highlight your experience in that field without going in too much detail, but you want them to know that when they look at that card, they know what you're looking for. And they want to, if you're looking at those higher level marketing positions, for instance, if most of them are requiring that MBA, definitely get the MBA part on your business card. Or if you're just finishing school, and then highlight those top skills that they're looking for. That's what I go for. Now, if you're going to do multiple ones, maybe color code them so you don't mix them up. Have a white one, have a cream colored one, maybe have a 2-colored one that, when you look at it, it's like, oh, hey, this is for project management, not a marketing. So you don't get them all confused. Give that a try, maybe, or different textures.
Yeah. I also recommend bringing a few copies of your resume, 5 to 10, printed on nice paper, but not extravagant. I understand that they're not actually going to keep the printed version. They take it back to their office, scan it in, and shred it. So when they tell you that, yes, we have your resume on file, they are telling you the truth. They're just not filing the paper one somewhere in a filing cabinet. Nobody does that anymore. Everything is digital. That's why they usually want you to apply online, because then they don't have to deal with the paper. But like I said, at least better than your standard copier paper. This is from the U.S. Department of Labor. I do not want to take credit for telling people how to dress, especially the next slide. But Renee's laughing at me. You do want to dress nicely. Think of it like you're going to an interview. So I guess I don't need to beat that into people's heads. We're all military. We understand that you do need to dress appropriately for the job, and the uniform of the day when going to career fairs is to dress nicely.
Yeah, and we have, when we do our career fair here at Earl Brown, we've had people show up in sandals and shorts and t-shirts, and we've turned them away. We've asked them, you can't come
But
in
they
here.
were staff.
No, no, we will, us being in the military, we know as veterans, that we know how to dress professionally. We've, being in the military, we've all stood those inspections. We know how to have attention to detail to what we look like. And you just kind of carry some of that over. So when we have folks that come to our job fair and they're saying they're serious job seekers, but they're wearing open-toed sandals, like I call them beach shoes, flip-flops, shower shoes, or shorts. Now we have turned them away as job seekers. Now, if they're in homeless or they're in need of resources that way, then we definitely have that discussion too. But when we see our job seekers, walking around and they're in shorts and flip flops and t-shirts that have graphics on them, and they're visiting with employers, we have pulled them aside and said, hey, how serious you are finding a job? Maybe we can bring them downstairs, get them a suit to throw on. We do get suits donated both for men and women. We do try to help out, but if they don't want that help and they're not taking it seriously, I do know some DevOps have turned people away and asked them to go home and change.
And he still works for us. The one
But
that
if
turned
you
him
need a
away.
suit, if you do need a suit, let us know and we will definitely find you someone who can help you.
So you want to have a wingman that can look you over, make sure that you're presentable. This came from many years ago at one of the veterans career fairs. We had somebody who came in and not only was his fly open, but his shirt was sticking straight out of it. And he walked in the building and a few of us grabbed him, drug him into the bathroom and said, fix yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Alan remembers that very well because he was the DevOps at the time.
He's my buddy.
Yeah. But, just have somebody look you over. Are you presentable? Is your hair combed? We don't know. It might be windy tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They are talking about the possibility of rain. So just somebody to say, hey, you got something stuck in your teeth.
That's a lot of times, even for guys, you kind of forget that part. Women do, we put on like face lotions and different things like that. If you're known to have like dry skin or if your hands, check your nails, do a quick manicure on yourself, trim them up, make sure, use a nail brush to scrub them good. My husband, he's a paint guy, so he paints all the time, so his hands get dirty pretty easy. But if he's got to be at those professional meetings, he gets out that scrub brush and scrubs his nails real good. And if he's got dry skin, he'll put lotion on his face and little Mary Kay or whatever, and dry skin to calm down a bit, especially in the summer if your skin's peeling, things like that. I picked a lot of that stuff off of that Men of Style things. So,
Any questions, comments? Okay, well, that was the last slide. Oh.
One last thing, when I said be memorable, when you're going to the Veterans Career Fair, everybody there's a veteran. So, all your job seekers are going to be veterans. So figure out the things that make you stand out among your peers, and have that ready for your elevator speech.
I like that.
And your resume as well.
Thanks, Kitty. Thanks, Stephen.